guys, it's Ghosdee. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'll be sharing my favorite TV Halloween special. Guys, it is finally October, which is the best month in the entire calendar. And I'm not just saying that because I was born in this month. I just celebrated my birthday and been taking time to really just bring in the holiday season because I'm a big Halloween fan. Duh. I just love this month. I love everything about October. I love everything about everybody just indulging in horror and spookiness and candy, the costumes. I love everything about this month. Before I get into the list, I do want to talk about how October and September were great months for horror. If you haven't already, I definitely highly recommend going out to see Smile, Barbarian. We also got Pearl. I just saw Pearl, just to name a couple of the great movies that we've gotten already. Halloween Ends coming out this month. Midnight Club, that is Mike Flanagan's new show. Chucky series is coming back. We're looking at a new VHS movie, and they just announced another VHS movie on top of the one that has yet to be released. So things are really good in the horror world, just like every other horror fiend. I have favorite movies that I revisit every Halloween, but on top of that, there are a couple of TV specials that I revisit every Halloween, or at least I try to. These are some of my favorite Halloween TV specials. An instant classic TV special simply because Miley gets to play her cousin and herself, and it's just hilarious to see the contrast. Her cousin Luann is like deep southern chick. This episode is so deeply rooted in the humor that really makes Hannah Montana work. It's just like kind of goofy slapstick humor, but it uses the template of The Boy Who Cried Wolf classic myth tale. This has been implemented in several stories and movies for years and years and years. The premise of this episode is that Miley is visited by her cousin Luann, and she is upset, terrified, because she feels that her cousin is just like the worst person.
When does her broomstick land?
I just love that line. Her family and friends do not see this. They just think that Luann's fine, but it all comes down to a party, right? That's like quintessential in any horror thing, where Luann actually dresses up as Hannah and goes to the party and locks Miley up, and Miley is to go to this party and like make sure shit doesn't get too weird. The best part about this party is that it's a Hannoween party. The hostess and her friend Tracy, longtime guest star in Hannah Montana, made this Hannah Montana dress up theme party so everybody's dressed as Hannah Montana. Miley assumed it would be easy finding her cousin because she would be dressed exactly like her. No, because there's so many Hannahs. I just think that's a pretty hilarious thing to add. I love this episode so much. I just love the fact that they cast a spell that comes true to their surprise. So the premise of this episode, Chelsea and Raven set out to go to this Halloween party that they were not invited to by the popular girl Alana. Even Eddie was invited, but they weren't invited. So on the night of Halloween, what they do is go through her Grandma Viv's spell trunk full of like spooky stuff. They think it would be fun. They come across the spell casting book and they decide to cast a wishing spell which would allow them to wish for anything that they want. I especially just love the scene of them like combining the ingredients, anything that's just like, ooh, witches over a pot. I don't know, I'm such a witch, it warms my soul. Chelsea is also wearing her infamous anti-meat pin because she's vegetarian, and they kind of like slip in this pro-vegetarian message in it because Chelsea is vegetarian. Earlier in the episode, she accidentally eats meat and it's like a big deal for her. Unfortunately, this pin falls into the cauldron. So their wish of not only getting invited to Alana's Halloween party, but also having the best costume start to turn because they turn into cows. We watch them slowly turn into cows throughout the whole episode. It's almost like watching someone turn into a werewolf on the night of the full moon. But but it's funny because they're cows, you know, they're getting the ears and the tails. There's a scene where like Chelsea's just eating hay from this guy's hat. They do end up being full on cows entirely. They also did win best costume. So the spell came true, just not how they imagined.
All eyes are on us. Might as well milk it.
I love Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and honestly, this is one TV show that commits to having a pretty decent Halloween episode every season. These are my favorite witches, hands down. I fucking love Hilda, Zelda, and Sabrina and Salem. I love that this episode is actually pretty fucking creepy for like a first time watcher or somebody that doesn't really know what's going on. So the premise of this episode is Hilda and Zelda gets invited to this party that they get invited to every year, but they never go. This is the year they're like, we have to go, we should go, although they're dreading it because they're like, this old lady, it's Halloween, we're witches, we want to have fun, we don't want to go to our aunt's party. And Sabrina was invited as well, but unfortunately she got out of it, and instead her and her friends are to be watching horror movies that night. In exchange of her not being able to show up to the party, her aunt did send her a toy doll. And this toy doll starts to talk and get pretty spooky really fast. Introduce Molly Dolly. Probably just as scary as Chucky. She's not like sinister like him. She's like Annabelle meets Chucky. She like talks and she's kind of funny, but she's not like, I'm a serial killer. She just does this spooky stuff. She definitely makes the house creepy. She locks them in. She invites some of her friends, which will happen to be Frankenstein, a mummy, a werewolf. Meanwhile, at the party, Aunt Hilda and Aunt Zelda, things start to get weird when they learn they're in an insane asylum. We get a great chase scene, like Scooby-Doo style montage between the two parties that are going on. It is revealed that this is all a prank, which is common in a lot of Halloween TV specials I learned while preparing for this episode. In order to make things go back to normal, it's just like, ah, ha, ha, ha. That's not real. However, with Sabrina the Teenage Witch, because the other realm and magic does exist, it's not that it wasn't real, it's just that the Molly Dolly character wasn't there to harm. She was just there to scare in a funny way, because in the other realm, it's okay to be scary. Being the spookiest is like fun. Yeah, that doll is fucking creepy, man. This is actually my first Community episode. Shout out to my college roommate that knew exactly what needed to be on to get me to love this show. It wasn't even fucking Halloween. She was just like, if you like horror movies, you should watch this episode to get in Community. It fucking sold me. Community has great Halloween episodes generally, but this is personally my favorite. Greendale Community College is having a Halloween party, and suddenly people start to turn into zombies thanks to Dean, who just so happened to purchase food from an army surplus store for this event. Why? One of the items he purchased was toxic, and this food is what is leading these people to turn into zombies. They're contracting some sort of virus which turns them into zombies. It's really funny just to see the crew kind of like go through this together. Dean like calls the army place and they're like, shit, you need to quarantine, and he does that very selfishly. Fucking Jeff is also being selfish, but I love that scene where they're all trapped in the room and they're talking about what's happening. They're going over the symptoms. I do not remember the character's name, that he's in a banana suit, and he's just like, oh, these are all the things, these are all the symptoms that signify that you are coming down with this virus. And in saying that, he starts to experience the symptoms. When they're like, oh my god, you were bit, why didn't you say anything? He was like, I thought I was special. And then Britta's like, you're not special, I'm special, I was bit 10 minutes ago. He starts to like become sick, and it's hilarious because like that is just so Brit to be like, you're not special, I'm special. Every zombie apocalypse movie, there's some dumbass that's like, you know, if you're big, you become infected, but you're still not saying things. It leans into horror movie tropes, but also diverts it because Troy saves the day, although he technically still turns into a zombie. This was an interesting one because the ending wasn't like, oh, everything was just a fake prank. It turned out that the temperature in the room helped people break the virus. The best part though is definitely like ABBA soundtracking this. This is such an iconic Halloween special because it doesn't focus on Halloween. It actually focuses more on the Day of the Dead. We have a character, Miranda, who's Latina. She's requesting that these traditions are celebrated at their school's Halloween bash. I especially love just the emphasis on like, these are ancestors, just respect this, because that is very true to the culture. And they use that to scare Kate, the mean girl. That's actually a pretty creepy episode. I remember when I first watched it, I was just like, what the fuck? These little ancestral dummy dolls are now life-size and they're scaring me. The B plot with their parents are getting a bunch of pranks. I love like that pranking is a part of Halloween, and it's so telling in all these episodes. I don't ever think about that aspect, but then you think of trick or treat. So pranking is a part of Halloween. Also, like, Miranda's parents get in on the joke. It's revealed that they are in these costumes, like going around. Lizzie pretends to be like this zombie ghoul, and they get Kate to cover herself in punch and fucking cake to ward off the evil. So we got the creepy and the funny in that one, and I really liked it. This is on the list simply because I'm here for Jess and Sam. I know that it's Jess and Nick all the way entirely, like they're my fave, but I think they're really cute. The whole haunted house sequence, the costumes, Jess is dressed as a zombie. Nick, I'm pretty sure is like the cartoon character author, but I'm not sure. Please comment below if you know who he's supposed to be. Schmidt is being Schmidt, and he's dressed as like Abe Lincoln, but he looks like the groom to like Cece's bride. This subplot of Nick like being too afraid to date this girl on an episode that's all about fear. And he goes through this haunted house and he punches Jess. It's so funny. And I know like Sam doesn't reciprocate Jess' feelings initially, but I mean all the stuff leading up to it, like him putting the nose on and I don't know, all that stuff's fucking cute. This is one episode I actually do revisit every year because this shit had me scared as fuck as a kid. Oh my god, the writers knew what they were doing. It has like the pranks, it has like the tricks, it also has its treaty spookiness. So in this episode, the twins decide to stay the night at a suite in which a woman died. I really love the story of the woman as well because it's a story of betrayal, and that's why she's like this angry spirit. It's a woman who staying at the hotel and had a dude, and the dude left her to own a pizzeria with somebody else. She was so upset, she like broke a mirror and it slashed her throat. The twins decide to stay there with Maddie, London Tipton, who just wants her money back because she's like the ghost of my money, and Erwin is there as well as Esteban, of course. And we get a lot of spooky shit. They do a seance, there's chairs moving, there's people being like eliminated. I remember when they first started like picking off the people in this episode, I'm just like, oh my god, this is becoming too real. But it is all a prank in the end, of course, because like I said, this is a common theme. Ghost of 613, man, that's a Disney classic. That's like a Disney horror movie classic. That could be up there with fucking Halloween Town and Twitches, because that shit's fucking cinematic. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, you can give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram at Ghosdee_, Twitter at Ghosdee, and Letterboxd at Ghosdee. I'll see you guys in the next video.